Hello, everyone. Welcome to the L. We're here in Westboro TV studio. I'm Jake Burkhead.
I'm Tommy McGinn.
And I'm Sean Levine.
So you might be wondering, what is the O? Why should you tune in? Tommy, would you like to explain to our viewers?
Absolutely, Jake. Here in the O, we're going to cover a wide variety of topics, including sports, local events, and lots of other hot takes about Westboro.
Today's topic is about incoming advice to freshmen, and we have our guest star, Maddie Berger, here with us today.
Thank you for having me on today.
So the reason we kind of wanted to start off our first debut podcast was with freshmen and advice was, as seniors, we wish we had certain things entering high school, and we think it's important to give advice, kind of hand it down to the underclassmen.
Yeah, so the first thing that I thought we should talk about is, don't be afraid to get involved right when you join high school, because, when I was a freshman, I remember I was like, oh, I'm going to take it slow when it comes to extracurricular activities. I wanted to, get, comfortable first, but we ended up getting hit with COVID at the end of my freshman year, and that basically took away the second half of my freshman year and my entire sophomore year for me to do stuff. So by the time I was actually, getting more involved in the school, joining student council, I joined football as a junior. My high school career was already half over, and, that was 2 years that I missed out on of, possibly being involved with these things. So I would tell all you freshmen, if there's a club you think you might want to join, or a sports team, or if you might want to run for a student government position, just do it. Just go for it.
Yeah, totally. Something I would start off saying is don't start off in a hole in freshman year. That's something I totally did. People underestimate the transition between high school or middle school to high school. It's a completely different environment, completely different academic standard. So just even if you have to stay after school with a teacher or just put a little extra work in, get some extra motivation, it's totally worth it because looking back, I wish I totally just got off to a better start, because when you start thinking about colleges, they'll start to hit you then.
Yeah, kind of to add to the academic point right there, get in good habits now. It's really important to start strong, so it'll help you a lot later on. And I think a big thing that you should really try and focus on is eliminate the problem we all have, procrastination. Myself as a senior, I still struggle with this problem. Second night of school, this very year, I had 4 hours of summer AP bio work to do. I could have easily done that during the summer. I just didn't, and that was no fun. Believe me, if you can try and eliminate this problem freshman year, you are going to have a way better time during high school, and you're going to be way more academically successful.
Yeah, so going back to Tommy's point, I actually couldn't agree more with kind of starting in a whole freshman year. I remember I was super nervous about the jump to middle school to high school, and because of that, I almost didn't get as involved as I would have wanted to. So that just kind of put me in a hole and put me behind on all my extracurriculars because I started a lot of them sophomore year because of that. So my biggest advice is kind of do what you want and don't really care about others' opinions on you, and kind of just do what you love and do a lot in that.
Yeah, I agree. Also, one thing about freshman year I kind of remember is there's so much stigma about the social life there. People are so more focused on the social life initially, more than academics, I feel like. But then people start to groove into the academics. Another thing I want to add was back to going for clubs and stuff. I ran for student council in sophomore year, and honestly, one of the biggest reasons I did that is because it was an online election thing, so you'd submit a video of yourself, and it was just so much low stress because people hate speaking in front of a live audience and such. But I wish I just would have done that in middle school. You're gonna regret not going for things. There's no harm in just trying it.
Yeah, and I think high school is a period in your life where you're trying to find out who you are and about what you like. And we talked a lot about getting involved extracurriculars, absolutely, athletics, absolutely. I think another thing is you have electives now. You have a lot more choice in your schedule. And I think a great thing to do is to just try and just find out what you like. Take something that challenges you. Take something you're interested in. Just really try and find out what you like. Just try a bunch of different things with as much room in your schedule as possible, because that's going to really help you on what you want to do later in your life. I mean, I know you're just freshman now, but it's cliche to say it, but time really does fly. And I mean, you'll be a senior before you know it. And it'll really help you out if you have, like, I guess, a better idea of what you want to do. And the best way to do that is just try everything. Just be fearless.
I have a question for you guys. So going off that point of, figuring out what you want to do and taking some interesting electives and classes, do you guys have any classes that you think like really stood out in Westboro High School and like you like want other people to take, you think?
I would definitely say, this is going to sound a little biased, but I would definitely say journalism. I did not know anything about journalism as an 8th grader. I signed up because I had a couple of friends taking the class, so I figured, because I had no idea what I wanted to take, but I took journalism, and it's been consistently one of my favorite classes at WHS. There's a lot of freedom afforded you in the class of like choosing what you get to do. There's a lot of different things to do. You can write. If you like being on camera, you can be on camera. If you like working behind the camera, filming or editing, there's a lot to do.
Yeah, I mean, just think about right now. I mean, instead of being at school, we're here at Westboro TV. I mean, that's a lot of fun. Like, let's be real here. Also, it does look pretty good for colleges, so it definitely helps out.
Yeah, I would say journalism and also stats, if anyone out here loves math. That was one of my favorite core classes, so math. I really loved like the real world application in mathematics from stats, and then also talking more about journalism. It honestly, looking back now, it's helped me in ways I didn't even like realize during the moment. It's made me a better communicator. It's helped my confidence. It just, looking back, you'll realize kind of how much it actually did for you as a person and as a student.
Yeah, I would say totally journalism. I would totally advocate people to try to take journalism. I would also say the business classes they're hard at Westboro, but they're very educating and rewarding. I think Miss Apuzzo she's intimidating, but she's actually a great teacher. She's like very direct, and you're gonna learn a lot from her. Whether it's like micro or personal finance. Personal finance is a great introductory business class. And journalism, going back to journalism, like I learned how to edit and like do broadcasts, and I ended up working with Mrs. Henderson at Westboro TV, so I kind of got like a job from that in a way, and I think that's very helpful to learn those skills as well.
To kind of like further your point there, last year, junior year, I had never taken a business class before in my life, and I took macroeconomics from Mrs. Apuzzo, and it just really opened my eyes to a lot of how, I guess, the world works, and I think it gave me knowledge in an area that I had nothing in. So that just kind of goes to my point earlier. Try and take as many possible different kinds of classes possible, because it really will open your eyes to the world.
Take wood tech. Wood tech's fun.
I actually want to go back to Jake's point of procrastination. In high school, one of the biggest problems is time management. You only have so many hours in the day. You have a lot of different sports clubs. You have to do homework on top of that. You might have a test. So I also think it's important to have like a good hobby, something you do after school, whether it's with your friends, just something to get out there and just relax a little bit. Like, do you guys have any hobbies that are go-to that you recommend?
Yeah, so one of my biggest hobbies is soccer. I've done it all throughout my life. I think I started when I was like 5, and now I'm 2-time varsity athlete on soccer, so I would really recommend doing that, or some sport in general. It's good for your health, physically, mental health, and also kind of just, it's good to get to know people and have the teamwork that you learn while playing sports.
Definitely sports. I play football. I run outdoor track. But, the best sport at the high school, rec ball in the winter.
Couldn't agree more.
Definitely do rec ball. That's a must. I think another piece of advice I would probably give is try and build good relationships with teachers. Like, stay after class, ask questions. Don't just look at them as a teacher. Look at them as like a guide to like really help you on, because that'll really get you far in your high school career.
Yeah, we have a lot of great teachers at the high school, so be sure to talk to them if you need help with something.
Yeah, and also I remember when I was younger, I was almost scared of teachers because they seemed so intimidating, and they graded you on everything, and they just seemed intimidating, I guess. But think of them as a helper. They're just there. They're literally just there to help you learn and help you grow as a person. So stay after and talk to them. ask any questions you have. No one really judges you as much as you think when you duel.
All right, Maddie, thanks again for joining us.
Yeah, I hope everyone can learn something from there.
You guys can tune in next week for a discussion about the hot takes we have about the restaurants in Westboro.
And this has been the O.